Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I hope that all of you are doing well. I'm Dominik Bladner, the ITTF High Performance Manager, and I'm very delighted to warmly welcome all of you to our 32 ITTF High Performance and Development webinar with the topic, How to Make a Champion, the Japanese Pathway from the Start. Before going over to the introduction of our panelists, I want to talk shortly about our webinar code of the Q&A. So to all the attendees, please leave your questions in the Q&A section. Our panelists will try to answer as many as possible in the question and answer part of the webinar. Thank you very much for taking care of this. And now over to the introduction of our panelists for today. It's a great pleasure and honor for us to warmly welcome the Japanese Table Tennis Association, represented by Mr. Miyazaki Yoshihito from Japan. He's the standing director of the Japan Table Tennis Association. 1988, he was a participant at the Olympic Games, and as a coach, he was 1990 the women's national team head coach and 2001 the men's national team head coach. So warm welcome to you, Mr. Miyazaki.
Hello everyone, my name is Miyazaki. Nice to meet you today.
And I would also like to warmly welcome Mr. Naoya Samuel Tsuruta from Japan. He's a staff member of the Japan Table Tennis Association and today's translator and presenter. So also warm welcome to you, Naoya.
Hello everyone, nice to meet you today.
Thank you very much both for taking the time, and it's nice to meet you. And now I would like to further welcome our well-known and experienced ITTF High Performance Elite Coach Massimo Costantini. So pass over to you, Max, and I kindly ask you for your welcoming words.
Thank you so much, Dominic. I'm really excited today to host this webinar with great friends from Japan. Japan is a leading country in table tennis. We all know the great success of Japanese players in the past and in the present. So we are really honored today to have Miyazaki-san as our guest. We are long-term friends. And of course, Mr. Naoya Tsuruta to help in translating the question and answers. And well, I don't want to stay longer here. I just want to pass immediately the screen, the stage to the Japanese friends. And please go ahead, and you guys at home enjoy the presentation from the Japanese Association. Thank you very much again, and back to you, Naoya Tsuruta and Miyazaki Yoshihito. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Massimo, for passing this on. Today, I will be speaking on behalf of Mr. Miyazaki and giving you the presentation. Today's topic will be based on the Japanese educational system. Japan has overcome the downturn, and we became the country which is able to win medals. Both men and women are not individually supported. They have grown, so anyone who becomes a national team member has the possibility to win a medal. Recently, we have made great achievements within the 48 years. And in Japan, if a player wins a competition, that will be on the front of a newspaper The media will be all around us. As such, and especially when Harimoto or Itomima wins the competition, the media will be very excited. We truly feel the growth and the attachment of table tennis in Japan through this. But within the last 20 years, Japan was not currently a country that could win any medals. This chart shows the men's ranking in Japan from year 2003. The blue bar is the ranking from ITTF World Ranking from 51 to 100. Then the yellow is showing you the ranking between 31 to 50. The orange is between the top one world ranking number 1 to world ranking 30th. As you can see, until the year 2006, we did not have a single player who was in the top 30th ranking of. But by 2018, we have 8 players who is within the top 30 of the ITTF World Ranking. This is all due to the development and education of junior players, and we would like to show you a video of the Under-8 Championships finals in Japan. How did you think of it? It's very surprising to know that they are 8 years old. And in fact, the left-handed player who actually won the finals match is only 7 years old.
That's yeah. Maybe we can interact here with a few questions. Of course, watching the presentation, we are very impressed by the quality, the things you are doing to develop the sports. So I have one question for you. Maybe Miyazaki, of course, can respond. Japan has a very strong tradition in producing champions. In the past, there were champions like Hasegawa, Ogimura, Ito, Kono, Ono, just to name some from the men's. But lately, it seems that there are many players capable to win medals. What is the reason behind this? What was the key to change this kind of trend and having so many players as we have seen in the world ranking? It started from the hopes, but what was the reason? If you can give us some thoughts about that.
Mr. Miyazaki, 日本は、チャンピオンを輩出する伝統が非常に強いと思うんですけれども、以前は、長谷川選手、荻村選手、伊藤選手、川野選手、 の選手、主に男子の選手を挙げさせていただきましたが、最近では、メダルを取れる選手がまた多くなってきたように思います。この大きな一歩を踏み出した理由は何でしょうか？
はい。荻村さんをはじめ、日本の伝統的なその世界チャンピオンは、全員がオールフォアハンドを使うチャンピオンばかりでした。そしてその伝統を守った挙句、日本は弱くなりました。そのフォアハンドの伝統を捨てて、バックハンドとフォアハンドを両方打てる選手を育てるためには、年齢の低い小学生から強化する必要がありました。だから小学校から卓球スタイルを変える強化システムに変えて、今成功をしてきました。
From the time of Mr. Ogimura, most of the past champions we had were all four-handed players. And by keeping this tradition of the forehand play, the Japanese got weaker. The style was simply just getting old. So in order to make champions again, the players needed to be able to play forehand and backhand. And in order to do that successfully, it was important to change this from the junior age.
Okay, so the techniques basically gave the proper development for the future. I agree. Of course, those times was totally different. Maybe Dominic, you have a question on this first part showed by our friend from Japan?
Yes, I do have. So Mr. Naoya and Mr. Miyazaki, you mentioned that the media is very much attracted by table tennis in Japan, and as we all know, when we've been to Japan, it's really the case that they are real stars and followed worldwide by the cameras. So what do you think? How important were the results of Japan to attract the media in your country? Or do you think that were they the key factor, or was it more about the big number of the passionate table tennis players in your country?
本日いただいた、セミナーの最初の部分で、メディアがとても大きな重要な役割を担っているっていう話がございましたが、その中で選手の試合結果っていうのは、その日本国内でのメディアの注目を集めるのにどれほど重要ですか？それとも選手自身の知名度がメディアの注目を集めているのでしょうか？
選手自身というよりも、日本はメダルを取れば、結果を出せば、メディアが取り上げてくれます。結果を出せば、そのスポーツがメジャー化になってきます。勝たなければ、テレビに全く出ません。メディアに出ません。サッカーでも、サッカーは全部の国で有名かもしれませんけど、日本ではサッカーでも勝たなければメディアから全然受け入れられません。ですから勝った卓球というのはすごく取り上げられる。これが勝たなくなったら取り上げられなくなる。これが日本です。
In Japan, it is not the single player or the fame of the players which the media gets attracted to. It is the victory. You have to be able to win in the sport. And by winning, the media will bring up the value of the sport to major sports. Even in football, or may I say soccer, if they don't win, the media will not take any comments or news for it. You have to win a medal or a competition in order to have the sport become famous.
Okay, thank you for your answer. So it was not about some additional programs for the media or whatever, so it was just about the results, as I can hear now, yeah?
ではもうその 選手個人とかではなく、もう本当に結果が求められているっていうことなんです。
はい。世界的にも有名ではないスポーツも、メダルを取れば、日本では次の日から有名なスポーツに変わります。例えばカーリングとか、そういう感じですね。
In Japan, even if it's not a major sport, the fact or the result of winning a championship, a competition, will result in the next day's top news. For example, in Japan, the curling, the winter sport curling, suddenly became very famous after they won a medal.
Thank you very much, and I hope also some other countries will take Japan as a role model in this. And yeah, I would like to pass over to my colleague Massimo for the next question.
Yeah, I have one more before going to the second part of the presentation. Judging by the video, it's really interesting, and I witnessed in other occasions that these little kids under 7, under 8, these kids perform in surroundings like professional adult players. So what is the reason behind this? The small kids acting like top players. What is the reason behind?
先ほど見せていただきました映像から判断すると、とても小さな7歳、8歳の子供の選手が、もうまるでプロ、大人の選手のようにパフォーマンスをしているように思います。その理由っていうのはどこから来るんでしょうか
？7歳、8歳の子がプロ選手と同じ環境のもと、トレセン一緒のところで練習する機会が多いからだと思います。20年前の子供たちは、プロ選手と一緒に練習することがなかったので、試合ではこういうしゃがみ込みサーブ、こういう子供がよく出すしゃがみ込みサーブを出すんですけど、今はトップ選手を近くで見ているので、こういうしゃがみ込みサーブは誰も出しません。プロが出さないサーブは真似しない。もうプロの出すサーブを真似して育ってる。一緒の練習環境でやれてるということだと思います。
So I think the biggest reason is that now the players has a venue, a practice surroundings where they could practice alongside with the professional, the adults. About 20 years ago, most of the kids were serving by squinching when serving. But as they practice with the professionals and the adults, they learn that is not a professional, proper way. And by looking at the professionals, directly, not through TV, but interacting with the players, they learn faster and they get more educated.
So, for what I understood, it's important that also the little kids during the training camp, maybe they also stay with the top players, so they can learn from them.
では若い子供の年代の時からでもトップ選手と一緒に同じ環境で彼らを見て学ぶっていうのもとても大事だっていうことでよろしいでしょうか？
もうその通りです。
Yes, exactly. They need to be close to the players and see what they do, feel what they do, and understand what they do.
Excellent. Thank you. I think, Mr. Tsuruta, you can continue with the second part. We can have a break here. You can continue the second part because we have prepared many other questions for you. So please go ahead with the second part of the presentation. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, I would like to explain what sort of educational program we have. Here are some programs we have, and Please let me explain from the left top, which is the SNS seminar, the media seminar, anti-doping seminar, and Zen, which is also known as Zazen in Japan. Then here we have the Fair Play seminar, the mental training, media training, and media exchange program. On this photo, we have an English communication study, which was given by Mr. Kenji Ogiwara, the former Nordic combined ski medalist in Japan. And we had a former professional athlete teaching the current young athletes. Now, this is a curriculum we have called the Japan Olympic Committee Elite Academy Curriculum. Within this JOC Elite Academy, we have Tomokazu Harimoto and Miu Hirano, who has graduated from this curriculum. And as you can see, we have the English conversation, which is given twice a week, language studies, tutoring abroad, which means that the education was given during the international training, international camp, camping school, cooking school, facility tour, Chinese conversation, reading and impression essay, anti-doping seminar, SNS seminar, mental training, and physical training. Within this picture, it was a cookery practice, not just having to cook, but we have on the first morning of the session, we had everyone experience the crop harvesting. And the girl on this photo is the sister of Kasumi Ishikawa. Then in the same day afternoon, after they have experienced the harvesting, they cooked using what they have gathered in the morning. And this is a picture of Harimoto cooking, which I think was fried rice he was making here. And actually, to be honest, when this class was taking place, Harimoto was just about to depart for the Czech Open, and he asked Mr. Miyazaki that he would like to practice table tennis instead of taking this cookery lesson. But Mr. Miyazaki has told him that this class will be more useful for him and he needs to take part in it. Afterwards, when he participated in the Czech Open, he defeated Timo Boll in the finals and became the champion. So when he returned, Mr. Miyazaki told him, "I told you that cooking class will be very useful." And Harimoto actually seemed very questionable to those words. And here is a photograph of Tomokazu Harimoto and Miu Hirano studying at their hotel, within the airplane, on the train during their traveling. It was mandatory that they study during their professional tours. We had tutors attend the players throughout the tour. You may all wonder, how can they get better at table tennis with all these programs and studying? Where does the table tennis practice come in? But if a player wants to get better at table tennis, it is important that the player takes part in his practice by his own will. not because he was told so by his coach, but through his own effort. To have them think, it is important for them to study by themselves, practice at programs sensibly, to take part in things other than table tennis seriously. To develop their minds as such is the key factor. If you could teach appearance, attitude, feeling, mind, determination, behavior, players will naturally grow strong. You don't need to force skills, practice, or training to them. When the players have all these factors, they will understand what the coach says, put it into action by themselves. The most important thing is to develop their human strength. It is difficult to see on this photo, but on the bottom left of this photo, you can see the person wearing next to the yellow jacket, which is Jun Mizutani giving autograph to his fans after the match. He gave all the fans who queued for his autograph, which took 90 minutes after his match has finished. So the next day, Mr. Miyazaki approached Mizutani, thanked him for his kindness for giving all the fans his autograph. But the reply from Mizutani was actually that there were more fans waiting outside the venue, and it took another 90 minutes for him to sign all the autographs for them. He was laughing when he said so. Mr. Miyazaki truly thought that the Olympic medalist has the fantastic human strength in him. All these programs and education help develop players with human strength and achieve their success and goals. Miyu Hirano, Tomokazu Harimoto achieved many records of youngest players within these years. Education is not to teach skills, but to help them grow up with great personality.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tsuruta, for the presentation of the second part of your PowerPoint presentation. And I would like to start with a question for you, Mr. Tsuruta and Mr. Miyazaki. We've seen that you include a lot of programs beside the table tennis activities in your national team camps. And we would be also interested in how many national team members are present in a training camp, and how did you come up with the idea to implement so many different activities which you presented to us?
今回見せていただきました資料の中で、その代表チームの合宿では、卓球以外にも多くのプログラムを実施されていたと思います。一つの合宿に、今現在何人のナショナルチームメンバーが参加していて、どのようにしてこれほどの多くの活動を実施することを思いついたのでしょうか。
はい。合宿には、男子選手で20名前後、女子選手で10名前後が集まります。女子は練習相手を男子の選手、特に大学生にやってもらう関係で男子の半数ぐらいになります。プログラムの内容は卓球以外のことを多くやって、人間性を高めることを常に考えています。人間性を高めることの方が早く強くなれると確信しているからです。
Within the national camp, we have approximately 20 male players participating and about 10 female players. The reason we have 10 female players is because that the spar partner we have prepared for the women are from the university male players. And that's why we have half the number of male players And the reason we have so many different programs within the course is that we believe that the development of human strength is the most important factor, and that is what is most needed. And by developing the human strength of the players is the quickest way of having the players grow strong in table tennis.
Thank you very much for your comprehensive answer. And I would like to pass over to you, Max, for the next question.
Yes, Mr. Tsuruta and Miyazaki, super impressive, super impressive. I mean, we are receiving so many questions, of course, with such a great guest we have today that wouldn't be different. The question I have, I've noticed that many activities are held in classrooms. And are these programs part of a player assessment, or the program are just for their training? I mean, they have to follow some classes, they have to succeed some way in any results, and this is a part of a player's assessment or just simple training?
多くの活動が、教室で行われているっていうふうに見て取れるんですけれども、このプログラムは青春の、評価を行うための一環のものであるのか、それとも、もうトレーニングの一環として実施されているのでしょうか。
これはトレーニングの一環です。真面目に物事を進める性格になれば、卓球も真面目に努力します。そういう心の教育が卓球の成長では一番重要になる。そのためのプログラムです。
It is a part of a training program for the players to develop their mentally concentration on other things apart from table tennis. They will also approach table tennis training very seriously. So it's about developing their mental strength. And this is the part of the program.
Really interesting, really interesting. Thank you for the answers. And back to Dominic for next question.
Thank you, Massimo. Mr. Tsuruta and Mr. Miyazaki. It looks that being a table tennis national team member is not just performing table tennis, as you mentioned. There is much more behind to grow the human strength. Are these activities predefined and supported by the Japanese Olympic Committee, or is it a single project from the Japan Table Tennis Association?
卓球ナショナルチームで一員であるということは、ただ卓球をするだけではなく、それ以上の内容であると理解いたします。その中でこれらの活動は、日本オリンピック委員会が、定めているものなのでしょうか。それとも、日本卓球協会のアイディアで実施されているものでしょうか。
すべて日本卓球協会のアイディアです。ただし、ここに講師を派遣してもらうのに JOC に協力をいただいているところもあります。JOC に加盟する競技団体たくさんありますけど、卓球がダントツで多くの研修をやっています。
This is all an idea from the Japan Table Tennis Association. But in order to run these programs, we have the cooperation from JOC for having tutors teach us in the programs. And within all the affiliated organizations, sporting organizations in JOC, Japan Table Tennis Association has the most seminars and study programs, which takes place yearly.
Thank you for your answer, and I congratulate you for running these activities. And I just can say go on with them. And I think now Massimo has a last question for the second part.
Yes, I have one before starting the final part of this webinar. Well, the national team player is involved in different environments, like clubs, high school, university, of course, national team. What are the common elements among the different environments? What is the common things that you can have it across these different environments?
ナショナルチームの選手は、様々な環境から来ております。例えば強いクラブチーム、高校チーム、大学チーム、もちろん代表もその一つになると思います。それら異なる環境の中で、共通して行われていること、共通していることは何でしょうか？
私は共通しているものはないと思います。また、選手一人一人も違います。私たちは同じ研修プログラムを選手に求めますが、先ほどみたいな卓球の練習はすべて一人一人違う練習になります。すなわち個人で自由に自分の練習をやっていいということが多く私たちはそういうふうにやります。だからその個人が性格をしっかりして自分自身をしっかり持たないと自分の練習ができない。私たちが指導するんじゃなくて、その個人一人一人が自分で自分の練習を決めてやる。それが重要だと思っています。
I don't think there is a common factor with any of the clubs or high school, university, or the national team. Each player is all individually different. So we provide all the players with the same program, but all the practice for the table tennis is all different for the players. It's free for the players to decide on what they need to practice, what they will be doing. That is why it is vital and important for the players to understand themselves physically and mentally in order to practice what is needed for themselves.
Okay. That's important. I mean, to make the players responsible of their techniques and other area. Very, very interesting. Mr. Tsuruta, Mr. Miyazaki, I leave you for the third part of the presentation, and then back to you. The screen is yours.
Thank you very much. Okay, this graph is to show you the one-way educational system which Japan Table Tennis Association introduced. I believe many countries are having trouble establishing this one-way educational system. Until the year 2000, Japan had the national team, junior national team, but we never had the opportunity of working together. So we were unable to have this one-way education system. When Mr. Miyazaki became the men's national team head coach, he immediately established the Under-12 Hopes national team. Then he made a connection with the junior national team so that he may directly coach the junior team along with the men's national team. At the moment, we have the following teams: national team candidates, junior national team, which includes the under 18, under 15, Hope's national team with under 12, under 10, and under 8. And we are currently working on developing an under 7 team, and within the team we will be having we have an under 5 player as well at the moment. The feature of this system is that even if you are 10 years of age, if the player has the potential, he or she may play at under 15 or even the under 18. In fact, Harimoto Tomokazu was a player who became the national team when he was 12 years of age. The environment where players may participate at higher levels according to their potential shows that we have developed the one-way educational system as we wanted to. To run this system, we have a total of 84 staffs, 24 people who work and support Mr. Miyazaki at the office and the academy, 9 staff for the men's national team, and 9 for the women's national team. Then we have 8 other staffs for the junior boys, 11 for the junior girls. We also have 11 for Boys Hopes team, 12 for the Girls Hopes team. On this graph, you may see some numbers, the right side. They are the number of players we have in Japan currently. So we have 80,000 senior players, 7,400 university players, 77,000 high school players, 180,000 junior high school players, and 15,000 from preschools. The total number of players we have registered in Japan currently is 360,000 people. So, as you may understand, becoming the national player is a very narrow road. And the annual activation cost is approximately $5.5 million US. In 2001, the annual activation cost was $1.3 million US, and Mr. Miyazaki at that time was the only paid coach. So as you can see, we have grown very, very big within the last 20 years. The funding was provided through the government subsidy which we have applied for. In order to receive as much as we can, we applied for each program individually. The 3 shown on the left side of the chart, which is the Medal Potential Athletes program, the Next Generation program, and Elite Academy project. And on the right side, we have the Top Youth Athletes program, the Under 15 project, Under 12 project, Under 10 project, and Under 7 project. All these programs put together, we received a subsidy approximately of $2.5 million US. And table tennis is the only national sports association in Japan that has received so much subsidy from. And to be able to organize this one-way educational system, it is important that there are enough staff and money. But the most important factor is to have a leader who has the will, the belief on running this system. This is how Japan has managed to change. I hope through this seminar today you have understood the basic thoughts of Japanese development system, players' educational system. But the important part is not just to learn how it is operated, but using the knowledge which is gained. You may face many negative thoughts and obstructions along the way, but past those obstacles, it is the new future for your country. Thank you for your attention.
Mr. Tsuruta, Mr. Miyazaki is great, very, again, impressive, unbelievable numbers, and wow. From this side, we can see the results from Japanese players around the world, medals there, medals here, but then now we can understand what kind of work is behind, before achieving that. I have one question. I can start regarding the schools. It seems that in Japan, table tennis and schools are strongly and closely interacting. How were you able to build up such a strong cooperation with the schools, the university, high schools, and so on?
日本では卓球と学校が強く密接に連携しているように思います。そのシステムはどのようにして強い連携を築くことができたのでしょうか。
はい。学校同士の対抗戦が日本ではとても盛んに行われています。だから学校の卓球が強くなりました。このシステムは今後も変わらないと思います。そして私たちとのその密接という密接さを説明すると、合宿の様子、監督のコメント、この選手はどうだった、ああだったというのを、携帯電話で打ち込むことによって、そのアプリをすべての学校の先生が見ます。そこで自分のところの選手は、ああだった、こうだったという説明が監督からそこのコメントが携帯に載ってます。そういうアプリがあります。それで連携取れてるということになります。
In Japan, we have interaction of different schools where they have match against each other very regularly. So by different schools competing against each other, the table tennis skills and the players has developed very deeply. And I don't think this system in Japan will change in the future at all. And as for the communication between the schools, we have a mobile phone application where after the camp we have, the coach enters how each players played or participated within the camp, which directly goes into the school coach's mobile phone, so they could directly communicate how their players participated within the camp. And that is all done within an application which is made in the mobile phone. And that is how we keep the communication between the school's coaches.
So the interaction between the association and schools are very important because to continue the activities and having them also competing each other, it's really great. It's important to have it. Dominic, do you have a next question, I guess?
Yeah, you're right, Massimo. Mr. Tsuruta and Mr. Miyazaki. Working with the potential champions of the age categories under 7 and under 8 years, like we saw in the video of the two players, how can this program enhance the daily life of these children?
アンダー7とアンダー8の、チャンピオンと協力して実施した場合、このプログラムは子どもたちの日常生活を向上させることができるのでしょうか。また U7、アンダー7とアンダー8用のプログラムは、どのようになっておりますか。
はい。アンダー7とアンダー8のプログラムには、卓球の他にダンスがあったり、歯磨き講習があったり、あとゲームのオセロがあったり、いろいろなことを取り入れてやってます。また、アンダー7、アンダー8だけではなくて、18歳以下、高校生以下は、ナショナルチームの合宿には学校の教科書を持ってこないといけません。夜は個人みんなで、部屋に帰って勉強をするというのが決まりになっています。そういうことを守ることによって日常生活を向上させていると私は思っています。
Within the under 7 and under 8 program, we have an dancing lesson. We also have a educational lecture on how to brush your teeth properly. And also there's recreation of Oslo. I think in some countries it's called the reverse. You have the black and white chip you flip over. It's like not like a chess, but a recreation game. And during the program, not just under 7 and under 8, but under 18 players all have to bring their school study books into the camp. And on the evening, they all have to study by themselves. I think giving this time and opportunity is also a way for them to keep interacting with the ordinary life that they have.
Thank you very much for your answer, and I totally agree with you, and I like the idea to them things also activities out of the table tennis hall which are really important for their daily life also later on, of course. And also from my side, a very big thank you for this comprehensive presentation to the Japanese Table Tennis Association, to you, Mr. Tsuruta, and to you, Mr. Miyazaki. And the time is flying, and we will skip now. We will move to the question and answer part of the webinar. And we've received so many questions also prior the webinar. So thank you very much to all the attendees for your questions. And Mr. Tsuruta and Mr. Miyazaki, I would like to start with the first prior webinar question. It's from Ludwig Chaumont from the French Table Tennis Federation. And he would like to know, what is the most important skill to detect the young talents in Japan?
フランスの方からのご質問なんですけれども、その選手の技術やタレントを発掘するためには何が最も重要ですか？
真面目にやれるかどうかが一番重要だと思います。
I think the most important thing is to see if they could be seriously concentrated and focused into the sport itself.
Thank you very much for your answer. And Mr. Chaumont, I hope that the answer was helpful for you. And I would like to pass over to you, Massimo, for the next question.
Yes, coming, from all over the world, so many questions. I have another one from India, actually. from Lokesh Bagri, asking how Japanese table tennis training technique is different from Chinese or European techniques. What is the difference? What do you think?
日本におけるその技術トレーニングが、中国やヨーロッパと異なっているっていうのはどこだと思っておりますか？
基本的には変わらないと思うけど、日本は自由にやらせるので、伊藤美誠が、本当に男子もできないようなチキータをやったり、加藤とか早田が逆チキータを編み出したり、独創的なプレーを個人個人が編み出す。これは、コーチが強制的に練習をやらさないで、個人個人が自由に練習をやるから、自由な技が生まれてくると思っています。
I think the base of the training isn't different, but giving the opportunity for players to think for themselves is the reason and the point where we have players like Ito Mima, who has an original style of service and Chiquita, which even the male player can't copy, or like Kato, creating the backhand Chiquita, and being able to create and develop techniques which is new and original is the difference that build between China and Europe.
I see. I mean, for Chiquita, you intend the backhand banana flick, I guess.
バックハンドチキータはバナナフリックとも呼ばれているものだと思いますけど。
それを自由にやらせるんだけど、その選手がその自由を遊びでやるんじゃなくて、自分の気持ちで一生懸命やる。そういう性格に育てれば、ほっといても勝手に強くなる。勝手にいろんな技を編み出す。ということなんですね。
Although we give the freedom to the players, the important part is that within that freedom, the player is still serious, focused on what they want to do with it. Just doing it with interest or fun wouldn't develop. They need to be really focused and willing to become strong, and that freedom then will give them the dreams and the goals that they want to achieve.
I see. Great. So I think Dominic, you have some more, right, from the live audience, let's say.
Yes, you are very right, Massimo. Mr. Tsuruta and Mr. Miyazaki, the next question is from Miran Kondrich, who is the ITTF Sports Science and Medical Committee Chairman. So Stravo Miran from my side. What is the key to leave those kids motivated until they leave the junior category? And when starting with the competition and at the level, it is very hard to stay focused until they reach the higher level. He wants to talk about the fast and the slow development of the player. So what do you think are the most important factors in this?
その若い選手がジュニアに育つまで、またジュニアから、シニアレベルまでに上がるにつれて、その選手のモチベーション、集中力を維持するためには何がとても大事だと思いますか？この中でその、技術力の向上が早い選手もいれば、その遅い選手もいると思うんですけれども。
一番重要なのは、リラックスです。深いリラックスをすると、 高い集中力が生まれます。ですから、一日ずっと練習を強制的にやらせると、すごく低くなっていきます。たくさん休ませて、好きなだけ練習やらせたら、すごく高い集中力になります。ですから、リラックスと集中をうまくコントロールすること、絶対強制してやらないことが重要だと思います。
I think the most important factor is for them to be able to relax, breathe, not just concentrating on the practice or the training constantly, because they will be really tired and their motivation, their concentration will all just drop. So the important part is to let them relax whilst playing. Give them enough time to go to bed, do other things apart from training. If they can have the time to breathe, relax, settle down, then they will have the motivation the next day to do the exact same hard training as they will be carrying on doing. And I think that is the most important thing for them to be able to carry on.
Thank you very much for your answer. And Miran, I hope you are satisfied with the answer to your question. And I would like to pass over to you, Max, for the next one.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dominic. Well, it's from Australia, our friend Kenneth Lum asking what is the ideal age for kids to start. Could you please share your experience on how to train kids at a very young age? You said something before, but maybe if you can tell us a little bit more.
Oh, right, I need to speak Japanese. Hold on. 適正な卓球を始める年齢はいくつぐらいだとお考えになりますか？で、なぜ、その年齢で始めるのが重要かっていう、もしご経験に基づくご意見いただければと。
一番いいのは5歳、6歳からのスタートがいいと思います。人間の反射神経、瞬発力、反射神経っていうのは12歳が頂点と言われています。そこから徐々に落ちていくと言われています。ということは、1分間に185回ハイピッチのラリーを弾こうと思うと、12歳までに強化しないと、そのピッチは速くなりません。ですから、5歳、6歳にスタートして、12歳までに速いピッチの卓球を練習させる。その後は、今度は力がついてきますので、トレーニングをしてパワーのある卓球に少しずつ変更していく。そして、18歳以降は今度は頭を使う戦術というのをしっかり教育していく。そういう順序になると思います。
I think the age of starting table tennis is around 5 to 6. And this is because that it is thought that the reflex of a person is at the peak of its growth at the age of 12. So in order to be able to adapt to the quick rally of the table tennis, it is vital that they are used to the rally, the quick rally, and the reflex is built by the age of 12. And from the age of 12, they will be becoming more masculine, they'll have more strength and power. So by the age of 12, they'll be used to the quick rallying sport. Then they will, from age of 12, they will adapt it by themselves using their strength and power. Then by the time they are 18, they will be using that reflex and strength and power with the mind, the image of how to conduct the matches, how they should play, what the opponent is doing. So it all becomes one. But the time of developing the reflex is it is thought to be by the age of 12. So I think the best timing to start is around the age of 5 or 6.
Age of 5 or 6, and then combined with the proper development, mental reflexes, body, and so on, so to reach the best expression at the age of 18. Yeah, Dominic, I think we are, wow, it's a little longer than usual, but it's very worth it to have our friend from Japan. So, Dominic, again, back to you.
Thank you very much, Massimo. Yeah, and it's time, unfortunately, for the last question. And it's from Jana Timina from the Netherlands. Hello, Jana, from my side. And Mr. Tsuruta and Mr. Miyazaki, we have heard so far about the role of and talked about the role of the many staff members of your team, of the role of the coaches, the athletes. But one piece of the puzzle is missing, I would say. What is the role of the parents in the program?
今回の講習の中で多くのスタッフの方々がやはり関わっているっていうことも情報としていただいたんですけれども、個人的にその中で一つファクターが抜けていると思います。それは親御さんだと思いますけれども、この中で親御さんの役割というのはどういったことになるんでしょう？
私たちは、一番重要なのは自立。自分で立つ。自立というのを常に求めています。ですから、親御さんは12歳以上になったら、子供から離れるように指示をしています。ただし、親御さんと離れられない子供と離れられない親御さんはいます。例えば、張本智和、伊藤美誠は、なかなか親が子供から離れられない。ただし、他の選手は、ほとんど離れています。私たちは、親が関わることをよく思っていません。重要なのは、子供が親から離れて自立すること。そのことの方が必ず強くなると思ってますので、親との関わり合いは、子供と話す。ということを目標に置いてやってます。
For us, we believe the most important factor would be for the player, or in this case the child, to become independent. So in Japan, from the age of 12, we ask the parents to keep distance from the players themselves, so that the players could think, act, hold responsible for their own actions and causes. But we do have parents who's communicated, stay intact with players in Japan, such as Harimoto and Ito. The parents we still have with the players during the tours and the practices. But in Japan, we ask the parents to keep a certain distance between the children so that they could think, manage for themselves, and to try and become independent.
Thank you very much for your answer. And we, the entire ITTF High Performance and Development team led by the ITTF HPD Director Polona Chehovin, want to thank you, Mr. Tsuruta and Mr. Miyazaki, and of course also the Japan Table Tennis Association, one more time very much for sharing your knowledge, your experience, expertise, and for giving us so many interesting insights into the Japanese system, respectively the Japanese pathway from the start. Arigato.
You.
And I want to thank all of you for your interest and attendance at our 32 ITTF HPD Table Tennis at Your Fingertips webinar. I hope you liked it. And that's all from my side for today. Stay safe and fit, and pass over to you, Max. And I kindly ask you for your closing words.
Thank you, Dominic. Yeah, that was super interesting indeed. I'm sure at home, anywhere you are, you found today's meeting with the knowledge specifically with Japan super interesting, and having so many inside things, where you can take experience and maybe apply wherever you are in your country with your kids, coaches, and so on. So it was great. I want to personally thanks again, Mr. Miyazaki-san and Tsuruta-san, for your time, for your patience, and congratulations for whatever you have done so far, and especially for the future. Thank you very much, and from my side is all, and we'll see next time. Thank you again.
Bye.
Oh, thank you. Bye.
終わり
終わりだと。
Bye.